Kale. The leaf cabbage is a group of vegetable cultivars within the plant species Brassica oleracea. They have green or purple leaves, in which the central leaves do not form a head. Kales are considered to be closer to wild cabbage than most domesticated forms of Brassica oleracea. Etymology: Kale bears semblance to kale, a variant of call, derived from Scotland and northern England for various kinds of cabbage. Origins: until the end of the Middle Ages, kale was one of the most common green vegetables in Europe. Curly-leaved varieties of cabbage already existed along with flat-leaved varieties in Greece in the 4th century BC. These forms, which were referred to by the Romans as Sabellian kale, are considered to be the ancestors of modern kales. Russian kale was introduced into Canada by Russian traders in the 19th century. During World War II, the cultivation of kale in the UK was encouraged by the Dig for Victory campaign. The vegetable was easy to grow and provided important nutrients to supplement those missing from a normal diet because of rationing. Description: some varieties can reach a height of 6 or 7 feet, others are compact and symmetrical and of good quality for eating. Many, however, are coarse and indigestible. Most kale are either annuals or biennials. Seeds resemble those of cabbage in size, form, and color. Cultivars: one may differentiate between varieties according to the low, intermediate, or high length of the stem, with varying leaf types. The leaf colors range from light green through green, dark green, and violet green, to violet brown. Classification by leaf type: curly-leaved, plain-leaved, rape kale, leaf and spear, bumpy leaf. Because kale can grow well into winter, one variety of rape kale is called Hungry Gap, named after the period in winter in traditional agriculture when little else could be harvested. An extra tall variety is known as Jersey kale or cow cabbage. Kailan, a Chinese kale, is a kale cultivar much used in Chinese cuisine. In English it is occasionally called just kale. In Portugal, the bumpy-leaved kale is called by its original Italian name, Cavolo nero, with the expression cuvrabella also being used. Cultivation: most kales are raised from seed. Kale can grow well into winter. Nutritional value: in a 100-gram serving, raw kale provides 49 calories and is a rich source of vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin B6, folate, and manganese. Kale is a good source of thiamine, riboflavin, pantothenic acid, vitamin E, and several dietary minerals, including iron, calcium, potassium, and phosphorus. Boiling raw kale diminishes these nutrient contents, with the exception of vitamin K. Phytochemicals: kale is a source of the carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin. Kale, as with broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables, contains glucosinolate compounds which contribute to formation of sulforaphane. Boiling decreases the level of sulforaphane, whereas steaming, microwaving or stir-frying does not result in significant loss. Culinary uses: kale freezes well and tastes sweeter and more flavorful after being exposed to a frost. Tender kale greens can provide an intense addition to salads, particularly when combined with other such strongly flavored ingredients as dry roasted peanuts, soy sauce, roasted almonds, red capsicum flakes, or a sesame-based dressing. When baked, dehydrated kale takes on a consistency similar to that of a potato chip. Curly kale varieties are usually preferred for chips. The chips can be seasoned with salt or other spices. Regional culinary uses: in the Netherlands, curly kale, also known as boerenkool or boerenkool, is very frequently used in a traditional winter dish called boerenkool stampot, a mix of curly kale and mashed potatoes, sometimes with fried bits of bacon added to it, and usually served with rookworst. In Ireland, kale is mixed with mashed potatoes to make the traditional dish colcannon. It is popular on Halloween when it is sometimes served with sausages. Small coins are sometimes hidden inside as prizes. In Italy, cavolo nero is an ingredient of the Tuscan soup ribollita. A variety of kale, kailan, is a popular vegetable in China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, where it is commonly combined with beef dishes. A traditional Portuguese soup, caldo verde, combines pureed potatoes, diced kale, olive oil, broth, and, generally, sliced cooked spicy sausage. In Brazil, where it was introduced by the Portuguese, it is an indispensable side dish for the national stew feijoada. In the eastern African Great Lakes region, a leaf cabbage variety called sukamawiki is very popular in making a stew a side dish to accompany the staple food ugali. Various kale types are also eaten throughout southeastern Africa, where they are typically boiled with coconut milk and ground peanuts and served with rice or boiled cornmeal. In Italy, kale is part of many dishes, such as casseula polenta with kale, parmesan cheese and olive oil, and pizzoccheri. Buckwheat tagliatelle is served with kale, melted fontina cheese and potatoes. A whole culture around kale has developed in northern Germany, especially around the towns of Bremen, Oldenburg, Osnabrück and Hanover, and the region of Dithmarschen. Most social clubs of any kind will have a grunkoles and a kulfar sometime between October and February. Visiting a country inn to consume large quantities of kale stew, pinkel sausage, kassler, mitwurst, and schnapps. These tours are often combined with a game of bosseln. Most communities in the area have a yearly Kale festival which includes naming a Kale king. Curly kale is used in Denmark and southwestern Sweden to make lankal, an obligatory dish on the julbord in the region, and is commonly served together with the Christmas ham. The leaves of the kale are separated from the stem, and then boiled with stock. The result is drained and pressed to remove the remaining liquid. The kale can now be frozen for up to 6 to 8 months if needed. To make lankal, finely chop the kale and fry it with cream, pepper, and syrup for sweetening. In Sweden, it is also commonly eaten as a soup with a base of ham broth and the addition of onion and pork sausages. In Scotland, kale provided such a base for a traditional diet that the word in dialect Scots is synonymous with food. To be off one's kale is to feel too ill to eat. In Montenegro, collards kale, locally known as rashtan, is a favorite vegetable. It is particularly popular in the winter, cooked with smoked mutton and potatoes. In the southern United States, kale is often served braised, either alone or mixed with other greens, such as collard, mustard, or turnip. It is also used in salads. Flavored kale chips have also been produced as a potato chip substitute. In Japan, kale juice is a popular dietary supplement. In Turkey, especially in eastern Black Sea region, kale soup, kale sarma, kale kavurma, kale tursu are all very common and popular dishes. Decorative uses. Many varieties of kale and cabbage are grown mainly for their ornamental leaves, which are brilliant white, red, pink, lavender, blue or violet in the interior of the rosette. Ornamental kale is as edible as any other variety.